Lake Tzarina, welcome to the Umpire Chat Show.
Thank you.
I'm excited to have you on because you were my mentor for the master umpire position.
I was indeed.
You mentored me. I was like coming up out of the primordial ooze, not even an umpire yet, and you've molded me into what I am today.
I wouldn't say that. You were very you were very easy to teach. You
Well,
because you knew most of the stuff already.
I begged James to help me. I begged him. And he just said, "I'll think about it." Never answered me back, and then you stepped in and helped. I appreciate you for stepping in there. And poor, James wouldn't respond. Anyway,
Oh, you're welcome.
that's great. Talk about you. You have a lot of roles in the IKS. So um,
Yes.
you're the admin team. You certainly are. You've been to talk about how you got involved in wargaming in general pre IKS. Then we'll bring it up to the IKS.
Yeah, that's fair. I think I started where a lot of like the Gen Z got started in this, which is
Right.
Rome Total War and like all those like computer games. Um, I had always found like a fascination of just history first, and then it gaming as well, and the two combined into wargaming in general, and mainly historical wargaming.
Right.
And of course, that focused into like battlefield wargames, and then into miniatures wargaming, like you
Okay.
see with like Little Wars and all that.
All right.
And I started like playing those. I must have been 2017, I think, that I started
Okay.
like doing miniatures.
So interesting. And then, what was your first miniature context? Was it Warhammer,
Black Powder.
Napoleon, Black Powder? Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I remember the game so distinctly because I was going to my comic book store to like because I saw that there was a miniatures club that meets there monthly, and so I was like, I'm going to meet there. Turns
Yeah.
out it was actually a Magic tournament happening that day, so they were not going to be there. But
Ah.
another fellow who had come from Britain was me with a friend, and I just saw him as like, we don't have a place to set up, so I said, hey, can I join in? They said sure, and we played essentially half scale on a like coffee table in the corner,
Okay.
and it was 1812 campaign, and it was a lot of fun, and made a few friends that day.
That's great. What a great lesson, though, is that even in constrained kind of physical space, you can still have fun and get something going.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And where did that take you? Did you start buying? Did you acquire your own little miniature army, or?
I don't really have the funds for it.
Okay.
But I did find a way to at least start messing around with like rules and stuff and making my own sorts of little games.
Okay.
I've always been a bit of a game maker, so it just felt natural to like use bits and pieces of other games to make stuff. So I had gotten this um I can't remember what it's called, but like this foam map of Gettysburg that's like
Really?
in a few pieces. I can't remember where it got from. I think it was like a history convention or something. It was the only one. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pick this up. Had it for years. Only started using it once when I started getting to miniatures. And then I got one of the anniversary sets, like the retro sets of Risk with the wooden cubes of different colors.
Right.
And I made those the units and started essentially working out with different trying to make the like different armies and different situations and scenarios, essentially just sandboxing rules at that point. And I did that solo for quite a few years until 2020, 2021.
Huh. And when you say sandboxing rule, what does that mean? You just kind of made a homebrew set
Yeah,
with
essentially
this map.
homebrewed a set, like yeah, with like
Hmm.
d6s. Like each blocks had a um, rolled a dice, and then it basically. It's been a while since I thought about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, But yeah, I essentially just made up rules, not on the fly, but just tried to stay consistent and get to a satisfying conclusion.
Okay. Were you a role playing game guy?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Little Dungeons and Dragons, or what was your preference?
Dungeons and Dragons was what I started with. I started in high school. Wasn't that good, I'll say at the
Yeah.
beginning, but I still do like some like role playing games and some campaigns on the side. Not much of D&D now. It's mostly like Vampire Masquerade, Werewolf the Apocalypse. It's like the World of Darkness
Huh?
uh yeah, stuff. It's pretty interesting, but yeah. I mostly
You
do it with
still
a few
play?
friends.
You still play a few?
Yeah, I still play a few.
Okay. So if we were to have met you as that young person and said a little bit of homebrew, a little bit of role playing, like the miniatures, you'd be a prime candidate to become an umpire for Kriegsspiel,
I if I had known what it was, yes.
right? If we did like,
Yeah.
we should send a memo to school psychologists everywhere and say, if you see this combination,
Yeah,
send them to
seriously.
send
I
them to the newcomer game.
yeah, exactly. I like I had found like all those pieces. You were right on the money. Like I had all these pieces, and it's like I was missing
Yeah,
something from the games that I was making, and the campaigns were like, yeah, it's like I enjoy role playing games like D&D and all that, but it's like I wanted to just have like a game where you were felt like you were in the shoes of a commander, and
right.
not just like someone that's like moving pieces on a board.
That's a great way to say it, though. As you just described it, is there was a little piece missing from each of them.
Yes.
Right, right, right. Yeah, that's neat. And so, how did you find the International Kriegsspiel Society?
Yeah. So it was late spring 2021.
Mm-hmm.
We're still sort of in that lockdown phase of COVID,
Right.
and I was messing around on Tabletop Simulator, looking
Okay.
for modules to do more of the you know sandboxing, as I put it, of making games, and I found these pieces that I were really interested in. They were um, just NATO, like lawn NATO style pieces,
Uh huh.
and they were made by Alex. If for those who don't know, Alex was one of
Yeah.
the original like creators of the IKS. Some were also made by Marshall, the modules, I should say. And I can tell you how old they were. They still had the symbol for the dice on them for as which ones to roll.
Oh, that's
That's how.
great.
Yeah,
That's fantastic.
yeah. Um,
Yeah.
and so I was like, "Oh my god, this is a system I can actually work with it." But it seems like there's already something here, and I kind of want to learn this system. Like maybe I can learn this. And so I was like, "Hey," I put it in one of the module comments. It's like, "Hey, can you like send the
So you found
rules?"
a module in Steam, basically,
Yeah, yeah. It was a
for
Steam Workshop
Tabletop
module.
Simulator.
Yeah,
That was what an amazing way to find it.
yeah. It was. I feel like I'm the only person to have ever found it that way,
You get
because Alex
you
is like,
you get a
we have
you get
this
a
community here. It's
you
like,
get a spot on the bingo card. That's the first time we've heard that.
yeah.
That's great.
Yeah, and it was I did not realize how early it was
Right.
until, like, a long time later, because it's like, yeah, it's like they had just found it a few months ago, a few months before I had joined in, so I was part of
Right.
the first grand game. It's like
The first Gettysburg game.
yeah, first Grand Gettysburg game.
What was that like?
It was it was the way it was advertised was like, "This is the biggest civilian game that we've played." I honestly didn't feel like I was ready for it. Because
Right.
like I don't know the system, I don't know like how it's done, I don't know my style yet.
What was your
And
role?
my role was as in Union Second Corps, the First Division.
Okay.
And but it was a long day, first of many long days. Uh, but I still enjoyed it, and it was it was very fascinating. I remember sending a a message to the British. It was an alternate scenario for those who don't know,
Right.
where the British were in the Battle of Gettysburg. Um, and so I was being the commander of the Irish Brigade, sent the British commanders a taunting message
Oh, that's funny.
midway through the battle. Is just like, yeah, we're just going to charge into them.
That's funny. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We're
I had a lot of fun with
bringing
that
it
one.
back to a little historical animus, right? So
Oh yeah,
that's
absolutely.
funny. Yeah.
I love putting those little details that really build the world.
Long day. Gettysburg won, but it brought a lot of people to the community because
Oh
we
yeah,
even had some of the umpires here talk about that first Grand Gettysburg video. I guess was the thing that got them interested.
yeah. And looking back on it, it we make a lot better content than we did then. But yeah,
Sure,
it was very fun. It was very, very fun and
it's great.
rudimentary, but still, it's like there's still the building blocks there that we have now refined into what we have now.
Talk about your umpire journey. How did you start getting interested in umpiring? Obviously, you had the role playing before, but
Yeah.
talk
Uh,
about that.
if funnily enough, it started essentially right after Grand Gettysburg ended. There was um, it was a red versus blue campaign that was being made right after. Um,
Uh huh.
it was, and so I was like, you know what, I need to dip my toes into umpiring, so let's help run this. And so it really wasn't much of like we would consider Kriegspiel. It's more the operational stuff than the like tactical. But that game didn't end uh, the normal way with a grand battle. It's sort of ended with Sam Miller pulling a Sam Miller, if you understand that.
Yeah. Right.
And so it sort of fizzled out without any real satisfying conclusion. So it's like, you know what? Maybe I can work with this and sort of set up the next Red versus Blue campaign.
So you
And
were playing in that one, and you saw that and said, "Hey, maybe I'll take a crack at it."
I wasn't playing; I was helping to umpire.
You were helping to umpire, so got it.
Yeah, and then I was like, okay, so I made essentially a diplomacy style game where the many nations of the continent were sending diplomats and working stuff out. So I was preparing it for me the next year in game, and so I was like, okay, we're preparing for that, and then Jan Heinemann pulls a coup on Christmas Day against Marshall,
Right.
and so okay, pardon the French, but fuck it, might as well run this out. Let's see what happens. And
Right.
so that's how the Christmas coup began, which was
Got
my
it.
masterpiece.
Really.
Yeah.
And that coup, by the way, is a continuing project on many years later, as Jan still tries to unseat Marshall
Yeah.
from his
The-
throne.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was, yeah.
Right.
Looking back, I was there for a lot of it.
And so
Um,
what? So at that point, you were. What was your role for the coup? You were
my
the
role
umpire,
was essentially master umpire. I was
master
helped
umpire,
to,
or lead
not
umpire.
master ump, but lead umpire, just
Lead,
trying
sure.
to work it out. I got a map of the Versailles and a map of Paris, sort of intermix them, like sort of overlap them,
Right.
and essentially got the same pieces from the Red versus Blue campaign, and running with the same system that we were using for Grand Gettysburg at the time. One of the last times we used it, because during that game, a lot of the flaws were beginning to show for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it eventually was fought to what was essentially a bit of a draw, which led to a civil war
Huh.
in universe. Um, but everything ran fairly well. Turns um, were run pretty nicely, and um,
So now, red versus blue. Just for those of us who are newer to the
yeah,
community, it was a campaign, basically, right?
yeah, essentially a whole universe that we were trying to make
Right.
early on. Uh, it involved Red Country Vermilion versus Blaureich, and there
Hmm.
was another country in the middle. I can't remember the name of it. And there was a Russian one, which I was sort of affectionate with and sort of led in other games later on, called, I think, Tsaritsyn. I know,
Yeah.
very funny.
Yeah.
Um, there were some others as well. I think Albion was another one, which was supposed to be Britain. And it was on the continent called Reiswitz. It was this whole thing that we tried to make. I don't know where it is now because I left a couple years ago at this point, but
It
it,
pops up occasionally.
yeah, it
The
did.
Vermilion stuff. Now, what is your handle, Lake Tzarina? What is it related to that?
No,
Oh,
absolutely not. It was just a absolute coincidence. I was, like I said before, I was a big fan of Rome Total War at the time,
yeah.
back in the day, and some YouTubers back then one of which was Prince of Macedon. Old, I think he's still making content now, still, but shout out to him because I don't watch him often, but I still like appreciate him, and he's one of my first big YouTubers that I used to watch, and I always liked that moniker, and like I thought, I was like, one day I'm going to become a YouTuber when I was younger, of course, but
Yeah.
um, so it's like, but I want to be my own like moniker that I want to work with. So it's like I can't do Alexander the Great because Prince of Macedon already has that.
Right.
So I thought, okay, what about Julius Caesar? Because that's another big name from ancient history. So,
Yeah.
but I don't want to just do Caesar. I want to do a twist on it, like they do with the other ones. So it's like I'll do. So I know the Russian word for Caesar is Czar, and so for a long time, in games I was Julius Czar, and then
Huh.
um, when I came here and like got onto Discord, I sort of it slowly shifted into a Tzarina, which is feminine version of Czar,
Right.
and then it's like when I came into the IKS, is like, okay, I need to present more of myself, more of like me actually, and not just this tag I have. So I decided to use the name I use usually in life, which is Lake Tzarina, and they can be switched either way. So if like it can be a title or a last name. So
So if people see you in the coffee shop, they call you Lake.
yeah, usually if they know
Huh.
me.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah.
It is an unusual moniker. If you ever resume your aspirations to YouTube stardom, I think it would work just fine.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, what was your very first idea to umpire? I think it's the first time I've asked this, so we'll see if this question works. But you get an inspiration where you say, I'd really love to do a game where X happens, right?
Okay, yeah.
Um, what was your first like pie in the sky idea?
Yeah, the first idea like where my original idea, not just taking a work that just inheriting a work. It was actually um a it was a game set in Ireland during the Napoleonic Wars,
Okay,
based essentially in an obscure moment. Like what if, basically a what if. I always love what ifs
okay,
because they always have that little twist to them that you can just change so much about what happens. And there was an event in Ireland in 1798, a rebellion culminated in this Battle of Vinegar Hill. It was essentially the Irish versus the British, and it led by Theobald, this guy called Wolfetone. I can't remember his first name, just
hmm
off the top of my head, but that was not his first time trying to like lead an uprising. It was 2 years before the French tried to fund an expedition so that he can get back to Ireland and lead it himself,
right,
and tried to send troops. But I believe it was the weather. No, 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 no. It was not the weather. It was the British Navy that stopped them from sending troops in
okay,
that first attempt. So I decided, what if weather had caused the British Navy to be basically bottled up in harbor,
right,
giving the French an opportunity to land forces in Ireland and essentially lead a campaign there. And that
right.
was the first idea.
Yeah, okay, neat. Did you get a chance to take it to the table?
Yeah, I did. I set it up. It was essentially the French were landing in Blarney, which is a port in the south of Ireland.
Uh huh.
The British were essentially based in Dublin, and then there were multiple like minor little militias, Irish militias that were rising up. Um, Essentially three armies. The British were very elite, but they were few in number and not really popular with the locals. There was the French, which were had larger units, not as experienced, but still better, like better artillery organization.
hmm
And then there was the Irish, who were not well equipped, but were a lot of. So
Right.
it was basically playing with those, and um,
So, as a really hypothetical, how did you research that?
I did a lot. Wikipedia is a good friend.
Sure.
Yeah. I looked into like the commanders that could have been in the campaign, the ships that were involved as
Yeah.
well, in case like it got naval. Never did, but still just in case. researched the commanders. By the way, very interesting fact: the last name of the British commander during that time was Lake.
There you go. See?
Yeah, seriously. Um, there was also a few other Irish figures I made, like commanders. I don't think they were actually in the
Yeah, but they were real
actually,
people that
yeah,
you
real people.
adapted for
Yeah,
the. That's
Eh,
neat.
yeah. And I try to actually make it a story, more give it some breathe life into this time period.
And how many players ended up playing?
Oh, okay. It must have been. I want to say it was around. I don't want to lowball or highball it. I want to be
Sure.
it's around. I want to say around 20, and this was solo. It was a play by post game.
Right.
So,
And did you have them all at the same time, or would they cycle in and out?
I think there were a few who dropped out and a few who took up positions, but for the most part, it was a consistent player base.
Okay. And how did it turn out? How did you view it at the end?
Well, it ended with a battle around. I believe it was not Tipperary, but it was a town close to it. Um, it ended again in a battle. Uh, it was the Irish falling back with the British trying to advance, but the French were coming up to reinforce the Irish.
Uh huh.
And it was locked in essentially a stalemate. French tried to push hard on their left, weren't making much progress. The French commander got shot, wounded. Eventually, the leg had to be amputated.
Okay.
And then in the center, the Irish led a charge, led by at least player James, and
Player James.
he led it. Basically, broke through the center. James got shot, unfortunately, and eventually
Hmm.
died from the wound. But still, that was the turning point in the battle where the British had to concede. So it ended
Really interesting.
conclusively. Yeah.
And what did you learn from that? I mean, and the reason I ask it, you had this inspiration, this idea that was an unformed idea, and then you actually took it to the table and did it, and like in the fullness of the whole project, what did you take away from it?
I took away a good experience for first off, just
Great.
a fun experience. Um, I think I it's been a while since I've thought on it, but
Sure.
I I took away it's just a hmm. It's a I really it's hard it's a hard question, but yeah,
Sure.
just to be introspective and all. Uh, I needed to come back on that one, but
That's fine.
yeah,
That's fine.
I mainly run games so that others can have fun. That's my main.
Well, I mean, you start off at the top that you had a great time with it.
Oh
So
yeah,
that's completely sufficient.
yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think there's
I,
this baggage around Kriegsspiel because it started as an officer training tool for an army. Back in the
yeah,
1850s, somehow it should be seen the serious thing. But at the end of the day, if you had a good time doing it, that is all that really is needed.
yeah.
It's great. And so, what period attracts you the most? Because that's sounds like a kind of 1700s, early 1800s kind of idea behind that fictional scenario. What period do you like the most?
Period I like the most, if we're being specific, is American Civil War, just because I know a lot
You
about it,
do.
and it's yeah. I know, yeah.
And what
Uh,
area of the country do you? Where do you call home? Which area?
I am born and raised North Carolina, but
North
I'm
Carolina.
always for the I am a carpetbagger.
That's fine. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's fine. No, that's fine. That's
yeah.
fine. I live in
I
South Carolina. I live in South Carolina, so my carpet bag's right across the room there.
gotcha.
Um, yeah, no problem. So you have a great proximity to a lot of great battles. I played in James North Anna scenario,
Oh
and then I
yeah,
drove to the North Anna battlefield in real life and walked out to the Angle.
real okay,
It's,
nice.
it's right there. It's only like 10 minutes off a well traveled U.S. highway, the
Yeah,
North Anna battlefield.
I
Yeah.
remember visiting Kings Mountain in South
Yeah.
Carolina. Yeah, for a couple of times, and I visited Antietam as well. Gettysburg on a few occasions.
Yeah.
Um, Fredericksburg, but not for the battlefield. That was visiting someone. Petersburg on a trip up to Boston, but
Yeah.
yeah,
So all of it's right there, you know?
yeah, it's all like yeah. There's a lot of history on the East Coast, and so you're able to really get there either on a day trip or like actually taking a vacation there. So.
Right. Right. That's great. Okay. So American Civil War. So what have you brought into life in the American Civil War genre? Have you put some good games together there?
I have a lot of scenarios and a lot of ideas. I
Okay.
haven't really put in much of them. My most recent one has been a another what if, which was what if the Union Army was able to get forces to Winchester before Ewell did during the Gettysburg campaign, or at least the early factors of it. There's a
Okay.
Battle of Second Winchester. And I essentially brought in two corps from the Army of the Potomac, 1st and 11th, basically just rushing from Fredericksburg all the way up to there, essentially. Um, and that one ended fairly quickly because Winchester got overrun,
Mm-hmm.
but it concluded with, at least for that phase, a Confederate victory. But all the umpires agreed that it was probably be a second phase of this battle, and so I might bring it back to the table and basically as a round two to it all.
I see a slight pattern of you're liking the campaign level. Is that accurate?
Yeah. I like sort of, I guess, take it from Rome Total War, going from operational to tactical and even strategic. Like you have
Yeah.
a layer system to it, basically zooming out and then going back, like actually zooming into like the focus of it.
And
Because I
what
feel
is it
like
about the connection between that zoom out and zoom in that you like? Do you like logistics? Do you like the maneuvering? What is
um,
it that intrigues you?
the maneuver is a big aspect to it. I think maneuver is plays a big part in a lot of the games because it. I guess it's just from like that focus of like Napoleonics and Civil War. Um, I feel like speed is very critical,
Uh huh.
and its speed is a key to a lot of stuff. It's like if you can get to a spot fast enough, you're going to be able to decide where to fight. Um, and so sometimes campaigns are won before a big battle's even fought. Sure, it might be played out, but there's really a hard chance of winning it. So setting up those advantages and setting up the story, essentially the story behind like why is this battle being fought, is a big part of why I think shifting from operational to tactical is at least important to me. So
It's great. No, I think that's you put your finger on something very important there. That when we write our scenarios and when our busy players quickly try to read in a Discord text string why the battle's being fought, it doesn't quite capture the movements and the context that happened before that battle,
exactly.
which you're capturing at the operational level. Yeah, yeah. How do you balance operational and tactical philosophically? Do you do a play by post campaign and do live battles? Do you flip it around? What's
That's
your
the
approach?
dream. That's the
Yeah.
dream, is doing play by post campaigns and then live battles. For like some of the like bigger scale things like World War II, I think operational live games are pretty good. I've played in a few of those. Um, but I think a focus on like play by post campaigns, so that
Right.
players can have time to like sort of marinate in the thoughts and like the situation and put something like concrete down, at
Right.
least operationally, is fits well. And then when it gets to the tactical level, it gets like you need like that initiative and that instant decision making from commanders for that live game
Yeah, that's a good point.
allows.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. How do you recruit players? What's your approach?
I think it's the usual way, just like saying, "Hey, I got a game." It's like if you guys want to hop in, please do. If you want to help
Recruitment
umpire,
channel.
please do. um, There are some times where I ask players to like be certain roles. There are a few occasions that I've done that.
Right.
Um, but I sort of just let the players uh, figure out who they're going to be and what role they're going to take.
Okay. Do you pick the CIC? Do you have the players do that?
Sometimes I pick the CIC. I use this last game. I essentially called out volunteers for the CIC, and it was honestly a lot of good players that joined them, which makes sense for
Yeah. Right.
CIC being a lot of the better commanders, and then um, the rest sort of got folded into the Union. But yeah,
Right. Right. Do you run a so in your bigger games? You I guess you took those 20 players that you're mentioning earlier through the whole thing. So you were with them for a while.
yeah, it was a couple of months, I'd say.
Okay.
About 6 months was that how long that game lasted.
Screenshots. Are you a big screenshot man, or you keep them nice and tight?
I think there is a mix. I think it's always like it depends on the situation. If someone like is outside of combat, and if they have like
Hmm.
a higher up like position operationally or organizationally, I should say, then yeah, I think bigger screenshots are I think more beneficial for them so they can get a better understanding at least of their general like what's going on locally.
Right.
If they are in the thick of it or they have a more localized or smaller command, then smaller screenshots are better.
Okay. So you don't adhere to a rigid approach. You kind of take it into account.
Yeah, I sort of like take it as I see it. So
Okay. What's your future direction? It sounds like you're a busy guy in real life, so you've got to kind of use your time wisely. What do you think you focus on?
my focus currently is for right now is on this thing called Kriegsspiel Cup that's about to be happening in a few weeks. That's the main thing that
Yeah.
is in my mind. I am currently running because I noticed the date yesterday. A another what if game. This one of Gettysburg using pub battles is like, hey, I have this. I haven't played it in a while. Might as well pull it out. Let's create something for people to look at and watch. And I'm doing it once a day, updates once a day, so that it with the in the timeline of the battle. So today's that we're recording is July 1st, so they're going to be the July 1st um, uh, post will be tonight, and then tomorrow will be July 2nd, so on and so forth.
So what do you do? Talk us through that. This sounds like a what's the how does the battles play in, and what are you up to here?
Pub battles is essentially Kriegspiel light.
Yeah, right.
Um, you
And so
have
you've
a
got a pub battle set.
yeah pub battle set. Essentially, pub battles for those who don't know is basically wooden blocks with stickers on them and you essentially free move them around on a battlefield. It's again, like I said, Kriegspiel Light. It's a lot of simplified rules of Kriegspiel, but still, it has those concepts in it. So it's like it, but not. You could play
Right.
Kriegspiel on it, absolutely. But hold on.
But there's no fog of war. It's just basically blocks on a board, right?
Yeah, blocks on the board. You can do Fog of War. I've seen there are some rules for it, but I don't really. I don't think it's the best system for Fog of War. You sort of
Yeah.
need multiple sets to really run it with Fog of War.
Right. Then you by the time you're concocting your own thing. So how are
Yeah,
you going to use pub battles to for the daily updates?
daily. I just run it as solo. Basically, I run it
Okay.
against myself and um, just see what happens, and I'll do a little like narrative synopsis of essentially each turn, and sort of explain how it's what happens, how it's going, and give general overviews once like when you have like phases of the battle are complete. Um,
And how do you approach solo play? There's a couple ways to do it. How do you do it?
I try to follow the rules as written, but if I fumble or mess up, I'm just roll with it and try and give balance out. If it benefits one side, I try and sort of balance it out with something else, with either like a hindrance to that side or an
Uh huh.
advantage to the other. Um, I think it's like rules are made to be broken, but sometimes He's like it's a good. They're good guidelines.
Yeah.
That's what I think is how my philosophy when it comes to solo play.
So do you sit on you basically move one side, then kind of go through a process and say, okay, now I'm going to think of it the other way, or do you? Because some people do funny ways of tricking it. They use a card deck to say, okay, the enemy's going to attack here. Or,
I essentially do. It honestly reminds me of the short made by Pixar a long ago of the old guy playing chess against himself.
yeah,
He's trying to get into that mindset. That's the way I use to play solo, and the way I still do, I guess.
explain it. Explain because I for those who haven't seen that Pixar.
Okay, it's essentially just how you said, basically like stepping onto one side of the board and moving when it's the rebels' turn, and then moving to the other side when it's the Union's turn, and basically trying to compartmentalize both sides in your brain and
Right.
think and try and think about what would you do in this situation, what would you do in the same situation if you're on the other side. So it's it's an interesting mind exercise.
Yeah. Right. I agree because you really can move your perspective around
Yeah,
and kind of look at the board fresh.
yeah,
Before
absolutely.
my IKS career, I primarily was a solo gamer, and the actual thing that I loved about the IKS was how social it was.
Hmm.
Because I didn't get together to play board games for 8 hours with people because I just didn't have time.
Yeah,
So I would do a lot of solo gaming, even on computer games. I would operational art war stuff like that.
yeah.
So you get into that kind of mode of figuring out how to do that. You can get a lot from it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't really do much of the wargaming stuff before because I really didn't have like the friend group for that, and
Right.
here's the friend group. So
Yeah. Right. Right. Cool. And what uh, what project are you working on now?
I have a lot of
You talked about
yeah.
the and I do want to talk about the Kriegsspiel Cup, but are you working on one where you're lead umpire?
Not currently. I do have a
Okay.
lot of a couple years back. I was into a lot of essentially making scenarios, so I have a lot of them in my back pocket if I ever need
Right.
to, or I feel like I get the time to run one.
That is
So
you, right? Because somebody will say there's an open Saturday, and you'll say I've got a scenario that's X.
yes, exactly,
you've got like
exactly.
a you've got like a cabinet, a virtual cabinet of these scenarios.
Yes, yeah, I have a folder dedicated to the American Civil War. I got one that's miscellaneous
That's
because that's
cool,
how it's
though.
organized apparently. Um, but yeah, I got plenty. One of my favorites that I have is of one set during the Glorious Revolution, of basically William of Orange trying to fight against James II before William becomes King of England. So
Okay.
it's one of my favorites, and I love it because there's a twist in it. I can't say it in case I actually run it one day. I tried to a few months ago, but the players just didn't show didn't get enough
Yeah.
players for it, unfortunately.
So if you have more scenarios than you've run, there's something I'm guessing about research that you enjoy that like you kind of grabs your attention.
Oh yeah,
What part of
absolutely.
that do you like?
I think I was just learning. Honestly, I love learning about different things that I never really focused on before,
Uh huh.
and it just helps to understand the world that we has been before and trying to learn from it.
Right.
Just yeah, not what happened, but why it happened and how it happened.
So if you're going to do a scenario and something catches your eye, a Civil War battle or something, um, William of Orange, etc.
Yeah,
How do you go about researching it? How do you think about it? How do you frame it? And what steps do you take, just generally?
I mainly I usually as we do now use the internet.
Sure.
Just try and start with Wikipedia and then try and find some if there are online sources. Find them there.
Yeah.
And then just like Google like other like sites as well, like that I find and try and
You just
especially
kind
if
of hit it straight on
yeah.
the internet, starting with Wikipedia on
Yeah,
down.
yeah,
Okay.
and then yeah, just going from just to get the basics and then focus in on like what are there any like sites that have specific stuff? Because I can't be the first person to have thought about this, so might as
If
well.
you, yeah,
Yeah.
sure. Well, but and we in this hobby take a very specific view because we're fitting like a piece of clothing, a historical situation on a group of players in command roles.
Yes.
So if we have 6 players, 3 per side, we have to figure out at the Battle of Camden which 3 per side roles mattered the most or would be the
Exactly.
most interesting. It's a unique problem. I mean, there's no one out there that's written it exactly that way and said, okay, if you have 6 players and you're doing the Battle of Camden, here's how you think, here's how you organize it.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. Exactly. I could
um,
probably do that
you
as best
probably
you
could at
can.
this point, right?
Yeah. At
Yeah,
this point, yeah. Um.
I think. I mean, I think creating of the scenarios is a really interesting skill, and I think we fitting Kriegspiel interest and gameplay into the historical is its own skill set, and it's unique content. Nobody else does this.
Yeah. Exactly. It
Because
is.
most of the other war gamers, they're taking 2 people, 2 players, and they take a big board and they take thousands of counters, or they take thousands of little virtual pips in a computer program, and it's all organized around 2 brains, or 1 brain, or multiple brains in an MMO, right?
Yeah.
But we're the only ones who say no. We need actually to organize it around 14 brains, right?
Exactly. It's like yeah, you need to like organize like figure who is who and what are they leading and is there anyone else beneath them and just organizing
Yeah,
it and
yeah. What are the interesting roles in this battle so that I can keep my players interested?
exactly.
Where do you start? Do you start with the order of battle? Do you start with the historical unit sizes, the story? Where's your start point?
My starting point is usually order of battle, just trying to
Okay.
create that and then figure as like okay, who like which commands are the most important, who can I combine any into one or
Right.
yeah, is
Right.
there like a certain like unique thing or a unique aspect that I need to factor in, and then I go looking for a map, which is usually the
Right.
hardest thing to do when I'm running obscure battles. Sometimes I just have to make one. So
What's your approach on making maps?
I think if you're basing it off of historical place, try
Hmm.
to be inspired by it. Uh, and try and give the feel of the area
Yeah.
if you can't like get it exact because no it's hard to get it truly exact, so just try and give
Right.
the feel of it. um if you do it that way, try and get an understanding of like what the situation is because a creek in one place might be considered a river in another, so
Right. Which software do you use for your maps?
uh it is I think I used Paint and Photoshop as well in the past. Mainly Paint
I
before.
love the
And
people who use Paint. It's so fantastic. It's just like we're
yeah.
going we're going as low rent as possible,
Yes.
already on the PC, and I make a map. I love that. I have huge respect for that.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
like
it's great.
it's such a useful thing. It's like people like don't give it enough credit, I
I
think.
love it. Well,
Yeah.
there's a tremendous Little Wars video where they just show how they make a really nice map on Paint.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Here's how we do it, right? So I use Photoshop just because I needed to steal all of Damon's settings.
Oh.
So I
Yeah.
looked for the laziest way, and he had all these settings in Photoshop that he had leaked quite accidentally, and I cut and pasted all of them into a document. And I said, well, now I've got all the settings, and so I set up all my maps are essentially derivative of Damon's settings.
Yeah. I did try to make a map using John I think it's John Greenhouse or John.
Yeah, I know,
Yeah.
John. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Um and
His
based off
randomized method where he
yeah,
throws a
I
die.
tried to use his randomized method to make a map. It worked. I might make another one a bit more focused in later on, but it was an interesting experience to try and figure it out. So I can probably do something with Photoshop now on it, but
The GIMP, Photoshop, Paint. I think um, what's interesting about it is that we all develop our kind of cheat pathways,
yeah.
our ability to use hotkeys used to be called, right?
Oh yeah.
And I completely get why the QGIS guys are completely enthusiastic about the technology and how it works and all that. I just when I downloaded the software and I totally got to the fact that it was a layered based approach and all that stuff. And I just
Yeah.
said, I'm not going to learn a different software because I have to learn to relearn all the keys.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Uh it
You
yeah,
know?
layers are very
Yeah,
helpful,
you
but
got to have
it's
layers.
yeah, but it definitely has like sort of technicalities. It feels a lot like programming to me. It's just like
A little bit, right?
I sort
Yeah.
of understand what's going on, but if I mess up somewhere, it's like if something goes wrong, I can't really figure out what went wrong, so I need to like try and fix it with help from the internet, and the internet
Yeah, yeah.
rarely has the answers I'm looking for because
Now,
it's
are you a highly technical person in real life, or do you more of a poet? What's your, would you like to read history, or do you like to code? What's your personal interest?
my focus is on reading history is definitely something I'd say is making games. I am going to
Okay,
college right now for game design, so
you
hopefully,
are
yeah,
terrific.
yeah, and
Good for
through that
you.
I have some access to well, at least I have encountered programming and uh like 3D art and
Yeah,
yeah.
because if you're in a program to learn game design, you've got to learn all the
Oh
tools in
yeah,
the
all the
different
tools, yeah.
contexts. Sure, that's great. That's good. What are some things that you've learned in that program? Do you think the umpires here haven't heard of or could really benefit from?
I think honestly, I think if you are there are a lot of people that like to make their own rules for stuff. If you're like make being an
Right.
umpire, uh write them down. Write down like the guidelines for it. Like create a essentially a what is called oh, I can't remember. Oh god. I It's been a while since I've looked at it. It's essentially this document that you create. Essentially is like
Game
okay,
design document, I
yeah,
think
yeah,
you.
yeah, game
Yeah,
design document. Yep. Thank you,
that's fine.
teacher.
No, no, no. I just
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, just guessing what it was called,
No,
but
no, no. You actually said the words and it popped in my head. Okay, so yeah,
yeah,
to basically create a game design document, even though
yeah,
you're creating a Kriegsspiel which has its own approach.
yeah. Essentially, what is the features, the mechanics of this game,
Yeah, I
and
think that's right.
so because I feel like a lot of new umpires like they want to get in get in their hands full of the game and like actually like throw something out there, but it's gonna look a lot like Picasso, but not as good. You kind of need you need to get the lines and get the framework in before that. And so like a good way of doing that, I believe, is like creating an outline, like a game design document so that you can
Yeah,
like figure out it's like, okay, this is the mechanics that are going to be running. Each turn this is going to be happening. This is the order that things happen in. This is the probability that this will happen. Those sorts of things.
I think one of the big paragraphs that would be unique to our hobby in a game design document would be how do the players communicate?
Exactly.
Are
Yes.
they using radios? Are they co-locating? Is it messengers? Is it telegraph?
Yeah.
I would never. We'll just keep it between us. But I had players point out to me on a game I'm running right now that if I have a telegraph, I would set it up between these two towns, and I actually hadn't thought through how telegraph would work. I improvised on the spot, but it was an interesting to if I would have had a game design document
Yeah.
and would have thought through these things, I might have had just a couple bullet points pre-thought out to bring more balance to how they communicate. I think it's a great idea. Well,
Yeah.
it could be a project.
Yeah.
Not that I want to add workload onto your already heavy workload. Is if we took the concept of a game design document and had a template for Kriegspiel, which added in some of these unique elements.
I could probably it maybe probably later on in July or early August, because I do have some
Yeah,
time before the next semester. I could um probably create something for that. It is a
we
good
can't let
idea.
Otto have all the fun.
Yeah,
Otto's the
absolutely.
only
Yeah.
guy. The only guy who actually written a document is Otto.
Yeah.
For gosh sake,
Yeah, I
somebody
could
else has to as well. I mean,
yeah.
goodness gracious, the guy's like lionized. Everybody loves him because he wrote a document on a checklist of how to set up a game. I think it's like the most amazing thing ever. If you did a game design document, we'd be carrying you around like C-3PO.
Oh dear.
So
I hope I'm not that snarky.
all the little, all the little umpire Ewoks carrying you
Oh.
around. Game design.
Oh man.
Oh my gosh, I don't know. It's
Itaone Luke Skywalker.
right. I
Ew,
mean,
poo, poo.
right. I think
Oh
it's
man, it's been a
inevitable,
while
right?
since I
It's
watched that
inevitable.
movie.
I mean, that's all Marshall wants is to be carried around like a C-3PO. We just none of us just have the heart to tell him we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
But
Um,
so if you put a game out on one of your topics,
yes.
one of your scenarios, and you had 300 people ping you and say that sounds fantastic, I want a part of it. What would you do? How would you handle that?
A part is in they want to play in it.
Just saying, wow, you've come up with something really cool there. I went in. What would you do?
I would. Oh, that is. Well, the dream is to make this a career that I can actually like live off of. That's the
All right,
dream.
I got to mark this. Hold 1 second, brother.
Oh yeah.
Hang on. Sorry about that. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I left my phone out there and it
Oh.
started ringing.
Oh no.
So I had to grab it
Yeah.
and shut it off. Okay, so
Gotcha.
we were talking about the dream.
Yeah, the
Go ahead.
dream of
Sorry.
just like actually living making an actual career off this and living off of umpiring for people. Um, my my goal, I would honestly invest it into making a program, like a computer program that can essentially computerize an umpire.
Okay.
Have the same concept, same mechanics of Kriegspiel that we have currently, but take out the a lot of the brain work that a lot of like us human umpires need and put it into a
Mm-hmm.
computer. So like saying like rolling dice, putting in a situation and rolling dice. Sometimes you need that human aspect though. So I think the role of the umpire is still necessary. But taking a lot of like the dice rolling and sort of that randomness and putting it into the hands of a machine. Not an AI, but a machine. And so like
Okay.
trying to create that sort of software. That's what I'd use with that money.
Okay. What would people pay for in that universe of? Because I mean, if you're studying this, a lot of business models and
Yeah.
things have to come up, right? What do you think would be buyable in Kriegspiel?
In Kriegspiel, I would say if you wanted to create like a game, just a general game, definitely could make that. Probably price it for me at least. I think a fair price is $30 just to
Yeah.
get the software so that you could get involved and get into a game. Um, if you want to just like have like something for the umpires to help, I'd say $15, maybe $20 if
Okay.
prices go up. But yeah, just
And what would the element of value be that people would buy? You think?
just to make things a lot easier, make things a lot more efficient with
Okay.
running games and um, being able to lower the bar for others so that they like if they think, oh, this is a lot of work, I don't think I have it in me to run this. Give them a tool to help them and to actually enter the field. And
Yeah.
yeah, because I know a lot of people have good ideas out there. They just don't have the confidence, because I know, because I was one of them back in the day.
Sure.
So I feel like if they had that confidence and that a tool to help them, it would be really beneficial.
What do you think the difference is between an umpire without confidence and one that with? What do they know and what are they like? What are they good at if they're confident umpires?
A confident umpire, at least in my eyes, is like generally can like run with mistakes. It can
Yeah.
run, like, if something happens, they can sort of improvise around it
Yeah.
and not panic if something goes wrong. I remember back
Right.
in the day when I was running games, I especially live games, I would get really nervous, and sometimes I still do when early on into games, when like there are a lot of things happening and you need to set things up and things are running behind on time. If For all the new umpires out there or people who are just starting, just don't panic. I know it sounds simple, but it is one of the hardest things, but also one of the most critical. Don't panic if things fall behind schedule, because it's like you need to go at your own pace. And because if you,
Yeah. I think
yeah,
that's a great perspective. That's right.
yeah, because I know I got burned out uh, a couple of times. It's like it just trying to put
Yeah.
too much on my plate, and it eventually I just crashed out. And it is important to just not stress yourself out about these things, because in the end of the day, we're all just trying to have fun with this hobby. So
Right.
you just try and,
It's a very forgiving crowd.
yes.
Within reason, people will bark at the end, but basically everyone will give you the benefit of the doubt. I think
Yeah.
I've only seen one live game stop because TTS crashed.
Uh,
Tabletop Simulator crashed and they couldn't get into the game. Like it was
uh,
a
yeah. I remember I tried to run a live game set in American War of Independence,
yeah.
and I had everything planned out. It was so great, and TTS kept on crashing.
Yeah. Maybe
And
that was you.
that
Maybe that
was
was the
probably
game. Yeah.
me. That was probably me.
But I mean that's an incredibly unusual thing. That was a technical thing where everyone would say, well, okay, the computers are broken today.
Yeah.
I mean, never has it completely melted down because the human beings melted down.
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's normally, yeah. People normally know their bounds, like what their limitations are. So I
Yeah.
say that
Yeah.
not as an insult to them. I just like it's like they are self aware. Most people are self aware and know like what they are capable of. So
Yeah. It's great perspective. A lot of great things. Any last things you want to tell the umpire community? I mean, my goal is to have this be a rotating thing, so we have you back on eventually. But
oh
any
yeah.
last things for this go around that you'd like to tell the umpire community of the IKS?
Um. This community has a lot of things that it can focus on. There are a lot of map makers, map designers, people who find
Mm-hmm.
maps. There are a lot of people who find orders of battle, a lot of information. Some people find enjoyment out of playing. Some people find enjoyment out of running. Some people will find enjoyment out of teaching, like you. Um, it Find that niche that calls to you the most, and
Mm-hmm.
try and improve it. Try and help lead it into its next phase, because as we continue to expand and refine this ancient craft of ours, it will improve for the next generation of players to hop in and be amazed at this truly amazing game.
Great words, great thoughts. Yeah, agreed. Wonderful stuff. Lake Tzarina, thanks so much for coming on. It was a really you had me thinking the whole time. It was really fun having you on.
You're absolutely welcome. Thank you for having me. It has been a while since we've chatted, and
Yeah, yeah, it's
yeah,
good.
I've looked at these videos and was like, I need to get on them one of these days.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listen, they're great. All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Oh yeah, absolutely.